Goldberg's genius was that he saw high-quality housing as a solution to a social problem. Here in Marina City, it's a similar thing. I mean, there's a democracy in the design, but also some of the first renters were African American, for instance. This was open to man and woman at the time. And even the union officials openly touted that this was an open place. And the city needs that victory at the time, because cities are seen then as foreboding places, racist places, places where people are leaving. And here was a thing that could say, but not here. This is what a city can be and should be. And that there is something to be said about architecture that respects that.
The context of Marina City is a really important one. By the 1950s, American cities were in trouble. People were leaving right at 5 p.m. to go back to houses in the suburbs, leaving very little in terms of the kind of dynamic experience that we enjoy in cities today. And so because cities were largely used only during the day by business people, Goldberg had to think out of the box about how to make a fully functioning residential structure in the city. He called this living above the store. Bertrand Goldberg had really enjoyed the kind of layering of functions in European cities, where people lived above shops and spent a lot of time in streets and really had a kind of multi-purpose experience with urban space. And so the program for Marina City incorporated high-density residential living as well as spaces for recreation, including an ice skating rink, a restaurant, grocery stores, and really famously the idea that everyone who lived at Marina City could have the opportunity to own a boat and a car.
He knew that if you put the amenities there, people will live in it and it becomes an asset to the city. And it's flat out beautiful. You know, we're in the throes of modernism at this point, and buildings of that height are boxy and steel and glass. And if you could build a concrete building, they look like bunkers, right? But the idea that you can make it sculptural, you know, is really groundbreaking. And that sort of technology spreads throughout the campus. I mean, if you think about the office building, the mullions are actually structural. They actually hold the building up like a cage almost, which allows these free floors on the inside. This sort of settle-back roof to the House of Blues, to the theater. You can see the diamond-like structure underneath it that holds together. Chicagoans hadn't seen this stuff. Few people had seen this stuff in America before. You know, it immediately becomes this icon for the city that shows up in movies and advertising from the day it was built to this current day.
The type of living that it was anticipating 50 years ago changed behaviors. It proposed certain ways of living. And I think sometimes the shape and the aesthetics overshadow the incredible diversity of economic means, lifestyles, that all of them could be accommodated within the building. You get people who buy units here who work in the building, students who come from other countries that go and study downtown, and people who are architects and designers that appreciate the design of the building. A lot of people just come here because of the balconies, or even flight attendants, because it's a great place to go to the train and go to O'Hare. So all those lifestyles are able to be accommodated here. I think there is something that is programmatic, and the way the layouts work that is very different from any other building, because you have a wedge-shaped unit.
There were studios, 1 bed and 2 bed, but with the bulk of them being 1 bedrooms. And we find it really efficient. The planning at the narrow end is really about storage and utility, and then as you get a little bit wider, the planning goes into the bathrooms and into the kitchen. And then when you're out at the perimeter and you have maximum windows, that's where you have your living space, and that's where you have your bedroom. And then of course the largest balcony you could ever ask for as an extension of your living space.